Hey, this is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking you through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you could turn your website into a lead generation machine and really increase your revenues every month. But let's talk about how we're going to do that. So first off, if you take a look at the top, you'll see we have AC repair in San Antonio, which generates about 1,600 searches every single month. Now, this is a lot of searches. However, you got to think of things in the grander scheme. There's definitely more searches out there, such as AC installation, or maybe AC repair near me. So there's definitely a lot more searches out there. But for this video and for the sake of time, we're just going to focus on this one search term. But let's show you how you could turn those 1,600 searches every single month into monthly revenue. Now, the first way we're going to do this is with internal search engine optimization. And internal search engine optimization is just essentially all the different ways that we can improve your website search appearance from within the website itself. And now this is very important because it's going to help us lay the foundation for our website rankings, because obviously we don't want to rank for landscaping or roofing terms. We want to rank for air conditioning or AC related terms. So this is going to help us do that. Now, you're going to hear a lot of fancy things like title tags, heading tags, local business schema. And while all of those are important, for the sake of time in this video, we are going to focus on the two most important things, which are content and keywords. So let's scroll down a little bit and talk about content. Now, why is content so important? So content is very important because, content promotes a positive user experience, and it does this by giving users something to interact with. When a user can come to your website and they can read through your content, they can look at your pictures, all of that promotes a positive user experience. And now when we promote that positive user experience, a user is more likely to not only come back to our website, but also to use Google for future searches. So it makes sense as to why Google would promote a website that promotes a positive user experience by having more content. So really makes sense when you think about it like that. I normally recommend that we have anywhere between 500 to 750 words of content on any given page. This is a lot of content. However, it doesn't sacrifice that visual aesthetic. I know a lot of people are worried like, hey, if I have too much content, it's not going to look right on my website. And 750 to about 1,000 words is that perfect mix of content and visual aesthetic. So definitely something to think about when you're building out content for your website. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, Justin, why don't I just throw 5,000 words on a page and call it a day? Google's going to rank me number one. And while that sounds like a good idea, in theory, it doesn't work because of something called relevance. We want to make sure we have relevant content. And the way we do that is with keywords. Now, keywords are the most used words and phrases on a website, and based on these keywords, Google's going to determine what your website is about. So we want to make sure these are very industry specific. The way I tell people to look at it is that we essentially want to answer three questions for Google. The first one being, what industry are we or what are we doing? Number two being the location that we operate in, where do we operate? And the last one is, who are we or what is our brand? So what industry do we operate in? Where do we do it? And who are we? So those are the three main questions. So let's take a look at your first, 5 or 6 keywords and see if they answer those integral questions for Google. So here we are in a tool I use called Keywords Everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you're going to notice your most used keywords from most to least. And now obviously there's more keywords if you keep scrolling down, but we want to focus on the first 6 because we really want to hammer home to Google right away, those 3 questions. So number one keyword, I always recommend being very industry specific. So service isn't the greatest number one keyword. I would bump that down because it's not very specific. I would actually bump air up to number one. That seems to be one of the most popular amongst AC repair companies, or I would put AC. Now, number 2, I would always recommend an enhancer to the first keyword. So if we have AC at number 1, maybe repair at number 2, or installation, something that really complements that first keyword. And then number 3 and 4, I always recommend, using your location. We want to tell Google where we do business, so that way we could drive that local traffic. So in this case, San Antonio would be number 3, and Texas would be number 4. And now number 5 and 6. Now number 5 and 6, I always recommend people putting their brand in there. A lot of people don't like putting their brand in their top 10 keywords. However, I always recommend it within the top 6 because we want to make sure that we rank for our company name. A lot of people think that I automatically get to rank for my company name since I own the domain. And while it's true in a lot of cases, that's not true in every case. There might be another company along the way, maybe across the United States or maybe in another continent, that is using that name or has a very similar name that is ranking for your business's name. So we want to make sure that we rank for our business's name as well as anything related to our brand. So 1 and 2, once again, to recap, is industry. Number 3 and 4 is location, and number 5 and 6 is brand related. So Let's take a look at your competition and see what they're doing as far as keywords and content go. Now, here we are on one of your competitors, the Comfort Boys, and if we scroll down their page, you're going to notice right away that they have a ton of content. And this content is actually helping them receive more favorable rankings. And they do rank on the first page of Google for San Antonio AC repair type of services. Now, like I said, they have a ton of content. In fact, I believe it's over 2,500 words of content just on this homepage alone. So you see how far something like that can really take you. But let's take a look at their keywords and check the relevance of this content. So once again, we're back to keywords everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you're going to notice that they have air at number one. Like I said, a very popular term amongst AC repair companies. So definitely something to think about as far as putting that number one. But then, something where you guys differ is that they really, really prioritize that location to drive that local traffic. They put it all the way up at number two. And obviously it did a split here, but San Antonio being number two. And then it kind of falls off from there. You have system, call, the best. So I'd really focus in on those first two keywords. I mean, you're seeing the importance of the location and you're seeing the importance of having that industry keyword at number one. So kind of use this as a guide. You don't necessarily have to copy this, and I wouldn't even recommend copying this because, like I said, they don't really optimize after those first two keywords, but definitely something to think about and definitely a guide for your keywords in the future. Let's go back to your website and start talking about external search engine optimization and how that ties into everything. So now we're going to be talking about external search engine optimization. And unlike internal, where it was everything on your website, external SEO is going to be everything off of your website to improve your search presence. And in this case, we're going to be talking about backlinking. So backlinking is a very simple concept. One website links out to another, and when you click that link, you go to that website. Very simple. However, on an SEO perspective, it's a very complex task because what you're doing is passing SEO power from one website to another. And now this is super important because it acts as a reference to Google saying, hey, I support the information, or hey, I agree with whatever this website is saying and you should check them out. So Google looks at that as a reference and it can really boost our rankings if it comes from a quality website. Really take into account the second part of that because quality is the important word there. Just like a good reference can make sure that you are in good standings, a bad reference can make sure that you are in bad standings. So getting backlinks from a harmful or spammy site could see your website tank in rankings. I see it happen all the time. People go on Fiverr and they order 10,000 backlinks for $10 and their website just tanks because these aren't quality links and they're going to hurt your website. So really focus on quality. I have a tool called Ahrefs and we're going to take a look at your current backlink structure. And you can see your website is plugged in. Currently, you have a 27 UR, a 6 DR, which puts you in the top 100 for 497 keywords and generates you about 190 users every single month. So not bad at all. These are some pretty good starting metrics. However, we want to expand on that. But in order to do that, we have to understand, what do these metrics mean? So we have UR, which stands for URL rating. And what that is the individual power given to a single page on a website. So in this case, we're just talking about the power your homepage generates from its external SEO. Whereas DR stands for domain rating. And what that is the power that goes through your entire website. So not just your homepage anymore, but all these other pages like your air conditioning, your heating pages, all of those pages are summarized in DR. So definitely something to think about. We want to increase these metrics. We never just want to focus on one or the other. We want to build the strongest site possible. So we combine these external metrics with our internal foundation, and that's how you really create a strong ranking structure. Let's take a look at some of your competitors and see what they're doing as far as external SEO goes. So now here we have Comfort Boys with a 21 UR and a 1.1 DR. They rank in the top 100 for 940 different keywords, and they generate about 1,400 users every single month. And now another interesting metric to look at is traffic value. Traffic value is a metric that determines, how much each visitor is worth based on where they come from. Now this is a total sum of all viewers. This isn't just one viewer, but the way they get this number is by determining where these users are coming from. So for instance, a user who comes from a term like air conditioning isn't going to generate as much traffic value as somebody who comes from a term like AC repair, because AC repair generates a lot more buyer intent, because somebody looking for air conditioning could be looking to buy one, maybe they're looking to install one, maybe they're looking to repair one, or maybe they're just looking for pictures of air conditioners. But somebody who's looking for AC repair is directly looking for AC repair services, a lot more buyer intent there. But, sticking to everything, you can clearly see that this website, very similar metrics, but they tie that internal and that external and they get the strongest results possible. But let's keep working down the line because there are some bigger businesses I have here to show you. So we have willfixit.com. They have a 34 UR and a 12 DR. Puts them in the top 100 for 2,800 keywords. Generates them about 4,000 users every single month, and has a traffic value of $72,000. Then we have Armendia, which generates a 38 UR and 11 DR. It also puts them in the top 100 for 2.6 thousand keywords and generates about 2,700 users every single month with a traffic value of $80,000 every single month. So you really see the potential here of a strong SEO structure when it's done correctly. But let's go back to the Google search engine result page and talk about the Google My Business profile. Now here we are back at the Google search engine result page, and what we're talking about here is the Google Map Pack. Now, if you look down here, here's the Google Map Pack, and what we've been talking about before this was the organic search results. Now, the Google Map Pack is super important because, it not only helps local businesses, but it gives you a second chance to win on Google. You can win down below, like we talked about, or you can win in this Map Pack and rank within these top 3 companies. Now, if you can effectively do both and you get the number 1 spot in both, you guarantee yourself 1,600 searches every single month that see your business first before looking at another competitor. So, very, very important if you can do this right. To get into the Map Pack, you have to verify your business via postcard, which is 100% free with Google. And now to ranking here, you have to adhere to the different factors that it's looking for, which are a little bit different than what we talked about. So what they're looking for is number 1, that you filled out that form to 100%. That way your business looks more reputable because you've given Google more information. Number 2 is a strong organic rank. The strong organic rank is really important for both down below and up top because it'll help you get a lot of traffic, and it has reference, or I should say influence, in the Google Map Pack. Now, number 3, what they're looking for is citations. Now, citations are all the different places your business's name, address, and phone number are listed online. And some popular citations are things like Yelp, Facebook, maybe the Yellow Pages. Those are all different forms of citations for your business. But let's take a look at how many citations each of these businesses has, and we'll determine how many you'll need along with all those other factors in order to start outranking them both in the Map Pack and in the organic search results. So now here we are in White Spark, and if you look at the top, this was the order. It was Atlas AC Repair with 22 citations. Then it was Tiger Services Air Conditioning and Heating with 41, and then it was San Antonio Air Service Experts with 37. Now, you may be asking yourself, how does somebody with 22 citations rank number 1? And the answer to that is, once again, there's multiple factors that go into this. A strong organic rank, they could have their profile filled out more, a ton of different things. But we want to make sure that we're on top of all of them so something like this cannot happen. So let's talk about this. So I normally recommend that you double the amount of citations of the biggest company in here. So there's 41, so you're going to want 82 citations for your business to really go in on top of those other factors and start outranking these companies and really generating that 1,600 searches every single month along with all those other search terms out there. Now, this is all I have for you in this video. Once again, I hope this was very educational and informative. My name is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads. We love to set up a meeting with you in order to discuss things that maybe weren't shown in this video or maybe about any questions you had. But once again, thanks for watching, and I hope this really helps you out. Bye.